Hey, Shalom, Yeshua, want to start souls by giving all praise to Yahweh, Hashem, Yahshua, Hashem, Makakwadash. Double honors to the apostles of GMS and honors to you brothers doing the work in truth, one sincerity. This was just a quick one on on the fact that we just have one job, right? You got the cares of this world, you got things that will try to slow you down, but at the end of the day, we have one job, right? And that's to to push this word, to do the work, be charitable, be brotherly, to the best of our ability. Right now, you will have some times where you trip up. Scriptures say, "Righteous man falleth 7 times, right? But he getteth up," and that's the point. You will trip, but you get back up, right? I've always personally seen those trips as reminders, constant reminders of why it is that we need Yahweh Shah. Because a lot of people try what do you call it? Try lower the importance of Yahweh Shai, right? But yeah, I'll go and get into scriptures. In Matthew 6:24 says, "No man can serve two masters, for either he will hate the one and love the other, or else he will hold to one and despise the other. You cannot serve God and mammon," right? So basically, you gotta know what it is that you're serving, man. You serving the Lord, or you serving your own heart with the cares of this world, right? Yeah, you have some, hobbies you like to do, but are you more invested in those hobbies or not? Right? Even in the case of your woman, right? Topic that comes up over and over again, right? Scriptures talk. Let me try find that. Made, please, Corinthians, right? It says 1 Corinthians 7:32. It says, "But I would have you without carefulness. He that is unmarried careth for the things that belongeth to the Lord, how he may please the Lord. But he that is married careth for the things that are of the world, how he may please his wife." Right? Because your woman's of the world, right? Don't take it as if saying you can't deal with a woman, whatever. That's just not what's being said, right? But it's always remembering that there is one job. Right, the worst position you want to end up in is falling out the truth because of a woman, and then what usually the case when that happens, right? The woman leaves you anyway, right? Because that was just a demon. Scriptures talk about how Satan, would you call it, goes as a roaring lion. Goes about as a lion seeking whom he may devour. Peter, some whom he may devour. Right, so 1 Peter's 5:8 says, "Be sober, be vigilant, because the adversary, the devil, as a roaring lion, walketh about seeking whom he may devour." Right? So like I said, you've got all of these things in the world that are trying to pull you in. But what you got to be, to quote the older Yashawamba, is when you're in the world, think of it, you basically turn the matrix. When you're in the matrix, man, do what you got to do and then dip back out. Right? Because like I said, the point of this video is that we have one job and one job only. Whereas the cares of the world will try and make us go this way or that way. Right? It says Colossians 2:6. It says, "As ye have received Yahweh Mashiach, the Lord, so walk ye in him." Rooted, right? Rooted, to root, to cause root, strengthen, right? It's basically built up in Yahweh Shai. Right, so and so rooted and built up in him. Right, you talk. One of the scriptures I've got. Mark is In fact, let me get it next. Right, the scripture I've got there. Mark is about the foundation. Right, you get your foundation in this truth, and then from that you can grow. Right, but once again, like I said, the key point is what do you call it? The key point is keeping It's not I can't think. The key point is remembering that we have one role, right? Which is why, for a number of brothers, when they first come into this truth, they may just randomly end up jobless, right? But in that period of time, maybe not have a job, right? Where they can just divert all of their attention to getting on a certain level so that they're rooted up in and built up in Yahweh Shai, right? And then their faith is more established, right? So all of these things can happen. Not saying that, as soon as you come into the truth, you will definitely lose your job. But that's just a pattern that we've observed, right? You come in, you either haven't got a job, you got a job, or you got a job where you got a lot of the day free. You maybe work early in the morning, and then you've got from 11 a.m. in the morning till when you go to bed. More time you just be there studying. Some brothers ended up being half what do you call it? With having part-time work. Some brothers were straight up jobless. Some brothers, weren't of working age yet. This, that, and the other, right? But yeah, let me get this now. This is Mark 4:14 says, "The sower soweth the word, and these are they by the wayside, where the word is sown." Right, so this is the parable of where you set your foundation. It says, "But when they have heard, Satan cometh and taketh away the word that was sown in their hearts." It says, "And these are they likewise which are sown on stony ground, who, when they have heard the word, immediately receive it with gladness." So it's, scriptures talk about it was in my mouth, it was Revelation, in my mouth, sweet, I can't remember what that is. I'm trying to remember the wording. In my mouth, sweet, and then belly bitter. Alright, so Revelations 10 and 9. What do you call it? Let me just go straight to the point. 10 and 10. It says, "And I took the little book out of the angel's hand and ate it up." Like, basically digested these scriptures, right? Got all up in them, and it was in my mouth sweet as honey, and as soon as I had eaten it, my belly was bitter. Right, when you first come in, you hear the sweets, you hear that you can have as many women as you want, the kingdom, this and that's gonna happen, this and the other. But then, you start, actually living the scriptures, and you realize that this ain't all fun and games. This ain't all just honey. It becomes bitter, right? And then when it becomes bitter, you get the guys that can't handle the bitter, right? They can't handle their family saying, "Oh, you're crazy. What? Get out of that cult, whatever." This isn't a cult, but that's just how the uninitiated, right? The dead, right? He that doesn't have understanding shall remain in the congregation of the dead. That's how the dead, right, view this thing of ours, right? But yeah, let me carry on. Basically they can't hack all of that stuff, right? So it goes on to say, "Who, when they have heard the word, immediately receive with gladness, and have no root in themselves, so endure but for a time. Afterward, when affliction when affliction or persecution ariseth for the word's sake, immediately they're offended." Right? So like I'm saying, there was a guy, because what does the scripture also say? It says, "A friend is not known in prosperity." Sirach. No, it says Sirach 12 and 8. It says, "A friend cannot be known in prosperity, and an enemy cannot be hid in adversity." Right? So basically, people's true nature comes out when tough questions are being asked of them, right? Right. So right now you have it's even in the context of the world, or in this thing of ours, which is also the point I was making about a woman, right? Times are good right now. Yeah, you and women might be struggling, whatever, what have you, financially, right? But ultimately, times are good. I believe it was either the apostles or one of the elders up in the States basically made the statement that for the most part, all brothers know where their meal's gonna come from, whether it's they can get it themselves, or whether they go to a brother's house or ask a brother for cash, or maybe even go to the family's house, a quote unquote family, that is. The people who you grew up with and all of that, and get food from there. It's not like in the times to come, like the time of Jacob's trouble, where food is going to be more scarce, right? And then at that point, when they're tested, are they still going to be a friend, or are they going to bug out, take themselves to get the chip, or even themselves and your children? Because that's also a thing that you've also keep in your mind, right? Because your family don't understand, man. Your family don't understand. Your woman can say all the things she likes, but she doesn't understand, right? It says, "Who is my mother?" Right, it says Matthew 12 and 48. It says, "But he answered and said unto him that told him, Who is my mother, and who are my brethren? And he stretched forth his hands toward the disciples, behold, my mother and my brethren, right? So for whosoever shall do the will of my Father which is in heaven, the same is my brother and sister and mother. Right? So your family, your true family, are the brothers in this truth, right? Your true family are the brothers in this truth, because your family in the world, the Lord can take them out. So there's no point being a family man, because like I said, your woman, you might think, oh, my woman this, my children, yeah, I've got to be the best family guy I can be. But then when hardship comes, right, your woman just takes your children to get the check, and then what? Right. So once again, one of the other things that you can end up trying to do is trying to do the job of what do you call it, of the family man, right? He's a family guy and shit, right? But we have one job, and that's to teach this word, and your family won't understand. But the aim of you teaching this word is for the fact that you might be saved, and in that your family might be saved. Apostle Tahar said it. He was like, look, man, if your woman's there when the chariots come, then she'll be there with you. Scriptures say in what was it? Is it First Timothy 2? That a woman shall be saved in childbearing, man. Right. So a woman's role is just to be with you, and if you do the work, whether she's yapping or whatever, man, this is the main job. Obviously, you got to balance, but balance that just comes with experience. Right, so let me carry on. It says, and verse Mark 4:18 says, and these are they which are sown among thorns, such as hear the word, and the cares of this world, and the deceitfulness of riches, and the lust of other things entering in, choke the word, and it becometh unfruitful. Right. So basically, they start going back into the world. They if they were into being music producer, they try make music and try would you call it, try sell that shit, be like, yo Tim, this, that and the other, right? Yo Timberland, or a Justin Timberlake, man, yo, it's my track, yo no, this is my track, once you spit over it, this, that and the other, right? That's the cares of this world. Not saying you can't, if that's what you do in your in your leisure time, your free time, then that is what it is. You're not making beats. It is what it is, right? But then it's what's your aim with it, right? Is your aim, are you slyly still, are you on the slide still trying to get a record deal and be a prophet at the same time? No, right? Because when you do a record deal, we all know you end up having to sell out, and you got this thing, artistic control, whereby they'll be trying to, it's your record label that tells you what it is you can and can't say in the videos, right? So that's why, once again, we have one job. But you have people in the world that have been given those talents, which I'll allude on in my last scripture, right? You have people that have been given those talents, and then that's the role, that's the lot that they fulfill, right? It says James 1:8 says, a double-minded man is unstable in all his ways, right? And this really is the what you call the real cut scripture, right? Where's your mind at, right? Now, to repeat the title of this show once again, we have one job, and it's this truth, right? If your mind's in the world and in this truth, and you're going to get conflicted, man. Of course, you have to navigate in the world. The scriptures say they that use the world as not abusing it, right? So you use the world, but to once again quote what the elder Yashawamba said, you go into the matrix. As soon as you can, you come back out, man. When you're using the world, you know what it is. You know what it is. You basically know it. What it. I'm trying to articulate it. I can't. I'm struggling to articulate what I'm trying to say. But for instance, let's say you're at a work party. It's just a work party, and I'm gonna go home and do some videos after or something. Right, you ain't, all getting caught up into the cares of this world or whatever, what have you. Right? It says Sirach 39, it says, but he that giveth his mind to the law of the Most High and is occupied in the meditation thereof. And that's the key word and what I want to get, is occupied. Right? That's basically all that's on your mind. And after a while, and it's true, that actually is. Right? You'll be seeing some shit. You're immediately thinking, yo, man, this is wickedness, right? Ezekiel 9:4, you know, the men that sign that cry for the abominations that be done in the midst thereof. Well, you be seeing some shit like wickedness, or you might see a, you know, a case where, you know, the judge, you know, you're questioning whether the judgment is a lawful judgment. You know, where you're like, shit. So, you know, how will we judge this in the kingdom? Because what's one of the things the scriptures say that we're to become kings and priests, right? So one of the things you're gonna have to be getting your mind towards and geared towards is about judgment, right? Because certain times, you know, Isaiah 10:1 warns them that decree and righteous decrees. A lot of the time, Esau will be passing judgment, and his judgments are hella booky, man. They're changing laws, and you're thinking, damn, that ain't scriptural. Or someone may ask you to do something, and in the back of your mind, you know, you got scriptures running through your head. Hey, some brothers have you know, female bosses, and out to have one-to-ones with these female bosses, man, and it's true. Right? Why Sirach 9:9 sit not at all with another man's wife, right? But it's, you know, being in those situations, always meditating the scriptures. That's how you don't fall off. That's how you don't end up doing wickedly, man. Right? This is 1 Corinthians 12:4. It says, now there are diversities of gifts, but the same Spirit. Right? So we see in this truth, every man's been given a different gift. Right? It says, and there are differences of administration, but the same Lord. And there are diversities of operation, but it is the same God which worketh all in all. But the manifestation of the Spirit is given to every man to profit withal. For to one is given the Spirit, the word of wisdom, and to another the word of knowledge by the same Spirit. To another by the same Spirit, faith by the same Spirit, right? To another gifts of healing by the same Spirit. To another workers of miracles, and to another prophecies. To another discerning of spirits. To another diverse kinds of tongues. To another the interpretation of tongues. Right, so basically I'm getting that out. So you have, you know, some brothers that are, you know, spirit of wisdom is heavy on them. Right, knowledge, you know, some brothers are, you know, very faithful, but, you know, great in faith. Right, some brothers will have the powers to heal. Right, some brothers miracles, some brothers, you know, are heavy in them prophecy. Right, and hey, the discerning of spirits, hey, some brothers are very good at that. You know, I'll speak for myself. I'll be walking with Archeum, and a brother just, you know, just senses something, or what says something about a person. Hey, this person's going to do X, Y, Z, or this person like that, and lo and behold, it cometh to pass. Right, you know, another diverse kinds of tongues, and to another interpret. So some brothers can speak and hear different languages, this, that, and the other. Right. But then, how does that apply to the world as well? Right, Apostle was speaking about it recently, how you have, you know, guys that were given the spirit to be musicians, great musicians at that. Right, for instance, they gave Prince, said he was most likely, I think, said Mozart in his last life, right? Which, you know, because what does the scripture say? The spirit of the prophets is subject to the prophets, right? Meaning that if you, what do you call it? If you're a prophet in your last life, then you're a prophet in this life. You know, so the guys that were musicians in last life, they're musicians in this life. So there's no point if you're coming in this truth saying, yo, I'm a prophet, right? There's no point you trying to, you know, digress, you know, go into another way and try to become something that you're not. You know, try to force the spirit of musicianship on you, right? They brothers can attest. They had certain talents in the world, which were, you know, if they weren't pertinent to this truth, they ended up losing, man. Right? Because once again, we have one job, and that job is to push this word. So I know it's been a bit long. I think I said this is just a quick one, but yeah. But Lord's will you were edified, and until the next time, I'll say shalom.